Welcome to Yoga Mama. This class is for those of you that are dealing with carpal tunnel during pregnancy. When we have an increased amount of blood volume in our body during pregnancy, it can put a lot of pressure on the carpals and lead to pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands and the wrist. So our class today, we're going to be working on boosting circulation. So we're relieving some of that pressure on the carpals and also staying off of our hands for the most part so you can still get a full, well-rounded yoga practice without putting that added pressure on your hands that you often find in the sequences that include table pose and down dog. So to begin, you want to find a comfortable way to sit. I'm sitting in hero pose on 2 blocks, but you can also sit in easy pose if that works well for you. So once you are settled into your seat, you can bring your hands together and interlace your fingers really loosely so there's no pressure being put on the wrist. You can close your eyes and begin to make little circles with your hands. Take 3 deep breaths going in that same direction. And with your exhales, allow your facial expression to relax. Let go of any muscles you feel are gripping through your neck and shoulders. Now change directions and take 3 more deep breaths. And let your mind empty out of anything that's not here on your mat right now. And give yourself this time to just focus on you. Now, bringing the hands to the center, you can spin your palms to face forward and push the palms forward as much as feels comfortable. Let your back slightly round, chin toward the chest. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, relax your arms down. Let your arms just hang by your sides, and we'll circle the shoulders forward and up with an inhale, back and down on the exhale. 2 more times just like that. It's definitely worth noting if there's a lot of tension in your shoulders. A lot of times the carpal tunnel symptoms are worsened by tight shoulders, so just be aware of that. You can let the shoulders relax all the way down and bring your right hand out in front of you, palm facing forward. We'll take hold of the index finger with the left hand and send your palm forward as you're pulling back gently on the index finger until you feel a stretch through your hand and your wrist. And take a deep breath. Now switch your grip to your middle finger, same idea, gently pull back until you feel the stretch and take a full breath. Imagine sending space into that feeling of stretch that you feel. And slowly release and switch to holding your ring finger. Same thing, pull back gently until you feel the stretch. Breathe into the stretch. And slowly release, and we'll grip the pinky finger. Take a full breath. Slowly release, and lastly, we'll take a pull on the thumb. Same idea, deep breath. And as you slowly release this time, relax the left hand to your lap and turn your right palm to face down. Get really loose at your hand and just shake the hand gently. And then you can get a little more vigorous as it feels okay. And then let your hand rest down to your lap and just feel the difference between the right and left sides. Next, we'll take the left arm forward. Same thing, other side. So starting with the index finger, gently pull back as you press your palm forward. Take a full breath. Take hold of your middle finger, pull back and breathe deep. Take hold of your ring finger, deep breath. And pinky finger, deep breath. And lastly, stretch the thumb back, maybe even a little out to the side. Take a full breath. And you can repeat this wrist stretch, this release, anytime you're starting to feel a lot of that pain or that tingling in the hands or the wrist. Now, as you release the thumb, you can turn your palm to face down and just start to gently shake your hand. And you can speed up that shake, make it a little stronger as it feels comfortable. And as you let your hand rest down, just take a full breath. Notice how your wrists and your hands are feeling so far. And as you're ready, you can rise up onto your knees. You can move your blocks to the side if you were sitting on them. And we're going to bring hands into a really gentle fist and place the hands at the back of the hips. So you can have your elbows squeeze back so you're open across the front of the chest. If this is too much for the wrists, you can reach your hands for opposite elbows or opposite wrists instead. Now, as you're breathing in, let your ribs rise up away from your hips. And breathing out, focus on squeezing your elbows back and your shoulder blades back. You might even tilt your head back, but only if it feels okay for your neck. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Breathing in, let the ribs rise up. And as you're bringing the elbows back with each breath out, hug your baby back toward your spine, using the abdominal muscles to support all the space you're breathing in between your vertebrae. 1 more breath here. And then inhale, come up to neutral with your spine. Relax your arms down. And you can take a little more space between the knees. And coming onto your fingertips, walk the hands forward. And then lower down onto your forearms. So your elbows can be right below shoulders. And you can either have your fingers facing forward with your palms down, or you can clasp your hands. See which feels best for you. With each inhale, take your head back and your tailbone up. Reach your chest forward as you bring the shoulder blades back. Each exhale, round your spine, chin toward the chest, tailbone down toward the ground. And continue this flow of this forearm variation of cat and cow. Focus on shoulder blades coming close together as you breathe in. And then spreading wide apart with each breath out. Let's take a few more rounds here, and this is a great movement for you to make daily. Not only is it good for your shoulders, your arms and hands, but it's also really good for your abdominal muscles and stretches the lower back. And next, inhale. As you take the head and tail back, we're going to pause there, and you can start to walk your elbows further forward. And as you do so, feel your chest start to sink down toward the ground. For some, it's comfortable in puppy pose to rest the chin to the floor. And this is a great way to counteract the rounding of the spine that we often come into when we're sitting at a computer or looking at our phone. Those positions can lead to more aggravation of the carpal tunnel syndrome. But if it's a little bit much to have your chin down, feel free to put your forehead either on your mat or even on a block. And as we hold here for a few more breaths, let your hips lean back away from the grip of your forearms down. And it's going to bring a lot of space into your ribs and side body. And take 1 more breath here. And begin to walk the elbows back to be just slightly forward of your shoulders. And with your toes tucked under, lift your knees slowly off the ground, coming into dolphin pose. And if at any point dolphin starts to feel like too much, you can bring your knees back down into puppy pose. So you can take 1 knee into a bend, stretching the opposite heel down, opening up the calf, and then slowly switch to the other side. And you can pedal your feet like that just a few more times. So let your head kind of hang down, or sometimes it feels best to look forward. See what feels good, but either way, keep your shoulders soft. And let each heel reach down for a moment, or even feel free to bring your knees down. Either way, we'll inhale, lift the right leg into the air. And as you do so, bend your knee and open your hips to the side. So you're starting to feel a lot of space through the front of the right hip. If you'd like, you can circle the right foot around a few times in each direction. And release your right foot down. Coming to the other side, lift up the left leg. Bend your knee, open your hips to the side. And remember, you can do this with the right knee down in more of a table position. And as you bring your left foot down, you can lower your knees, make sure they're wide so your belly's got plenty of space. And then come onto your fingertips, walk your hands back towards your knees, and then push down into your fingers and lift the knees off the floor. So you're coming into a forward bend. Your feet can go as wide as they need to so your belly has plenty of room. And with a little bend at your knees, you can start to slowly roll your spine up. You can even put your hands on the front of the thighs or fingertips on the front of the thighs to have a little support in coming up. And once you're standing, you can turn and face to where you can easily see. And we're going to have just a little space between the feet, about hip distance or so. You can bring your hands together in prayer in front of your heart. And as you're breathing in, open your palms to face forward. So you're making a little triangle in front of your heart. And then you're going to send that triangle forward and sink your hips down. So that's our inhale. Exhale, open your arms out wide, straighten your legs. Your fingers are pointed up toward the ceiling. Now spin your palms up and inhale, take the arms overhead, bend the knees again back into chair pose. Exhale, slide the hands to prayer as you straighten your legs. So we'll take that sequence again. Inhale, send the palms forward as you bend your knees. Draw your belly back toward your spine. Exhale, open the arms out wide as you straighten the legs. Spin the palms up and inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips down to chair. Exhale, hands to prayer, straighten the legs. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, send your triangle forward, bend the knees. Exhale, arms open wide, straighten the legs. Inhale, arms reach up as you bend the knees, sink the hips. Exhale, hands to prayer, straighten the legs. One more time. Inhale, triangle goes forward, bend the knees. Exhale, open the arms, straighten the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up, bend the knees. Exhale, hands to prayer. And take a breath, notice how you feel. And relax your arms down and step your feet out wide. Now, if you have a strap close by, go ahead and take hold of your strap. You can have it folded in half a few times so it's in a manageable size. And hold your strap behind your back so that your arms or your hands can be a little bit wider than hip distance apart. If you don't have a strap, you can just bring loose fists to the back of your hips like we did for camel pose. Now take a deep breath in, lift up your heart, lift up your arms, and tilt your head back. Exhale, slowly fold forward from your hips. You might want to bend your knees a little bit here and let your arms lift away from your back. You can let your head hang toward the floor. And if you feel a lot of pressure in your head as you fold, you can always put a block underneath your forehead or maybe even two, so you can stay lifted up without having to hold that lift. And let your arms keep reaching away from your back body here. And bring your shoulder blades close together and take a few more breaths. And really pull the strap with the hands and inhale, slowly rise up, have a little bend at your knees. And as you come up to standing, you can turn your right toes out and wiggle your left foot out a little bit wider, and then slowly bend the right knee, setting up in Warrior Two. Now, holding onto the strap in just the right hand, reach your right arm up and then bend at your elbow so your strap dangles down behind your back. And we'll take hold of the other side of the strap with our left hand. Feel free to keep lots of distance between the hands, or you can slide the hands a bit closer together. See what feels good for you and make sure you can still take a full breath while you hold this grip. Inhale, reach up and back with the right elbow, bringing some space into the side body. Keep drawing your baby back toward your spine so your back has some support. And take one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale, lean over the right leg. Feel free to bring your elbow to your thigh for more support, or you can continue to hold this cow face position of the arms. Let your right elbow reach away from your left foot. One more breath here. Inhale, slowly rise up with your torso. And on the exhale, release the right hand from your strap. You can straighten the right leg and turn the toes in, and turn your left toes out. Bend the left knee, and we'll reach the left arm up. Bend at the elbow, and take hold of your strap with both hands behind your back. So you can walk the hands as close together as feels comfortable. The side might be very different than the first. So just take a moment to really tune into what your body needs here. And with an inhalation, stretch up and back with your left elbow. Keep that deep bend at the left knee. Breathe space in between your vertebrae. And exhale, strengthen your belly. One more breath here, inhale. Exhale, hinge from the left hip, reaching the left elbow forward. Really root down into the outer edge of the right foot, and you're welcome to stay here with cow face arms, or you can bring the left elbow to rest on the thigh. Inhale, slowly rise up. And exhale, relax the arms, keep hold of your strap, and we're gonna turn the left toes forward. And you can actually bring your feet a little closer together for this next pose, but we want our toes to turn out a little wider than the heels. Now you can simply hold your strap in both hands for this next movement, but you want a little more space so that your arms can actually go a little wider than shoulder distance. And if it's been bothering your hands to grip your strap, then I recommend actually making a loop with your strap. And we want this loop to be a little bit wider than our shoulder distance. So if you just close that loop and bring it across your chest, we want it to be just a little wider than the shoulders. And that should be a good width. You can always make it more narrow or wider as needed. And once you've got your loop, you can put your thumbs inside the loop. This is gonna let you keep your hands open, so it might feel more comfortable for the hands, and just take that tail of the strap behind you. So this is the position we're going for, and you can do this while gripping your strap if you just wanna have it folded, or the thumbs hooked in the strap. So we want our feet to be a little wider than hip distance, toes turned out a little wider than the heels. Now with each inhale, we're gonna send the arms up overhead. Each exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze them down toward your outer ribs, and bend your knees into goddess pose. All right, let's move with the breath. Inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the knees. Exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows, sink down. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale and sink down, think about rooting the tailbone toward the floor and draw the lower front ribs back as you're bringing the elbows toward the lower back ribs. Keep going, let your breath guide your pace. And what we're doing here, of course, you're feeling the opening across your chest and the front of the shoulders, but we're also strengthening the trapezius muscles and the rhomboids, which play a big role in supporting our upper body posture. And that keeps our shoulders from rounding, will keep pressure off of our wrists and hands. And this next time you come into goddess pose, pause there. You can keep your eyes focused on one spot, or you can even close your eyes. If you want a little more challenge here, you can lift up your heels, balance on the balls of your feet, and breathe. With your next exhale, relax your arms down. You can place your strap down, straighten the legs, and we'll heel toe the feet a little closer together. All right, we want our toes still to be a little wider than the heels. And we'll take a full inhale, lift the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, slide the hands through prayer, slowly bend your knees, sinking down toward a squat position. So you can either keep your hands in prayer or touch the hands down for a little extra support. We'll take a few full breaths here. Now, as smoothly as you can, lower your sit bones all the way down. You might use your fingertips on the ground behind you. And as you come to a seated position, you can take your right leg out wide and fold your left leg in. Feel free to sit on a cushion here if you're having trouble sitting up tall. So as you're ready, you can slide the right hand down to the shin or the toes, or you can even rest your right hand on a block, especially if your baby's kind of hanging out on the right side. And then we'll lift the left arm up for just a moment and really stretch up through the fingertips. And then spin your palm to face behind you and wrap your arm loosely around your back. And let your head sink down toward your right shoulder. We'll pause here for the next minute or so. You can turn your head in any direction that gives your neck the most satisfying stretch. Relax your face and slow your breathing down. One more breath here. Release your arm from around your back. And as you come up to sitting upright, we'll switch sides. So you can open the left leg out wide and fold the right leg in. And you can have your block just outside your leg, or you might just reach for your shin or your toes. And first, we're going to reach the right arm up into the air. Really stretch the fingertips up toward the ceiling. And then, with your palm facing behind you, wrap your arm loosely around your back and allow your head to sink down toward your left shoulder. And you can feel for the best rotation of your head. Find what gives your neck the best stretch. And then pause there and breathe into the space you've made. Take one more breath here. And then slowly bring your torso up. Release your arm from around your back. And you can either fold the left leg in and sit for meditation, or if you plan on a more relaxing pose, you can bring a bolster or a few blankets that are rolled up onto your mat. And you want that to be away from your body a little bit. You might also want a couple blocks for this next pose. So you can lean to one side and have your bolster a little bit away from your hip, and then you'll roll down to one elbow and let one side of your torso come to your bolster. Then carefully roll toward your back. So as you come into a more symmetrical position, make sure that you feel your bolster is starting at the bottom of the ribs and then going on up. And this is going to allow your chest and your shoulders to have the most opening. You can either have your thigh bones coming together with your feet wide. That might feel best for you if you have SI pain. Or if you'd like, you can bring your feet together and your knees open wide and use your blocks to support your legs in bound angle pose. So once you've got everything situated, take a moment to feel your body and make any last little adjustments you need to make so you can spend the next 5 or 10 minutes completely relaxed. You might take a few deep breaths with your exhales gently coming out through your mouth like long sighs. And as you release those exhales, let go of any gripping that you feel in your muscles of your neck and shoulders. Let all your facial muscles release. And soon let go of controlling your breath, allowing your mind to now relax just as much as your body is. And stay in this position for as long as your schedule allows. And you can always come back to this position anytime you're starting to feel a lot of tension in the shoulders, arms, or hands. When you are ready to come up, do so very slowly by first rolling to your side and then pressing yourself up to a seat. I always recommend taking a moment to notice how you feel after your practice. You can do so by simply sitting, being quiet for a moment, and tuning in. And I hope this time on your mat has left your body feeling better than before. Feel free to send me your request for particular parts of your body or discomforts that you're having in your pregnancy. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.